Hey everybody, it's Sean. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through some places to find great color combinations, build really good palettes, and sort of just flex that creative muscle when it comes to color and color theory. So to get started, I just want to point out one of my favorite sites. It's called Coolerco, coolers.co. And in this website, you can explore different color palettes, you can make a color palette. I'm just going to click on the explore option for start, and it's relatively what you'd expect from a color palette creating website. It loads up eventually all sorts of really cool color palettes that you can go and explore, and as we'll see, it'll show you all the different options for the color swatches and things like that. So yeah, you can see right away it loads up its trending color palettes, and if you hover over any of these, it will actually load up their hex name. You could actually click on this, you can open up the palette in the generator, you could just view it, you could save it, you could export it. I'm going to open it up in the generator and sort of show you guys what the color generator looks like on this website. So here's the color generator, and it's pretty useful. You can select the color, like I said, and copy and paste its hex value, or you can see all the other values, like its RGB values, its CMYK values, and so on and so forth. The other cool thing about it is you can view shades of each individual color. If this color isn't quite doing it for you, maybe you want the one below it, it will replace it with that option. You can favorite certain colors. You can drag it to a different spot within the color palette if you wanted to. And there's just a couple of, you can lock it if you'd like to not mess around with that specific color once you have it nailed down, and so on and so forth. You can export it. You can export it in a variety of different ways, depending on if you have to embed it within a website. Maybe you want the code value if you're programming something. You can get an SVG file for it. You could actually get the CSS right away, and so on and so forth. There is a way to introduce this directly into your Adobe workflow, but you have to pay a fee to get the plugin that's required for it. I haven't done it yet. I'm still just doing the old school way of copying the values and moving forward with my life, but everyone wants to do things a little bit differently. I'll leave it up to you. And lastly, you can actually save color palettes that you like to use. I only have a couple in there, so it's useful. I just don't go to the habit of saving a whole lot myself personally. The next website that I want to draw your attention to is Adobe Color. It's color.adobe.com. And it acts in a very similar way, except when you go there, it starts you off with a color wheel, bunch of different palettes for you to work with. And you could also go to, just click on Adobe Color, and there is an option to go and explore. Oh, it's up here under Explore. You can go and explore color palettes, yet again, just like in the other service as well. So when that loads up, you'll sort of see more of what we're getting at. And Adobe's version is more so built in with industry sort of trending features. So they obviously have Pantone sort of color of the year front and center for everybody to go and explore palettes related to that blue. If we went back into Create, you can sort of see that we can just click and drag out these when my computer loads, you can click and drag out these different sort of color palettes and create different sort of color palettes, like full-on versions of it. You can tell it which type of color palette you'd want to work with. You can create monochromatic, you can do a triad, and what it's going to do is it's going to select colors off of this color wheel based off of this mathematical sort of equation. There's actually a way to do this in Illustrator, which I'll be covering in just a few videos. That's extremely useful, but if you find it easier to use the online version, that's great. The really cool thing about this is you can save these palettes directly to your CC libraries and translate them into your Adobe software with minimal hassle. So in that sense, it's a little bit better than color.co, But for some reason, I just kind of prefer Color.co. I find the Adobe Colors way to do things sort of a little bit clunky. The website's a little bit slow for my taste, but that's just me. And then finally, the last place that I sort of want to draw your attention to is actually on Instagram. And it's this profile called Color and Illustration. And I find Color and Illustration to be really cool. They basically take artists' work and they dissect the color palettes from it. And they show you the palette just down here at the bottom. I find this kind of useful when I'm a little bit stumped on what colors to even start looking at, because there can be just an overwhelming number of them to choose from. And they really do a great job at sort of, picking a high quality artwork and really doing a fantastic job at laying out the color palettes. If I just click on someone's artwork here, you'll see they credit the artist, and I think that's it. They're not actually telling you the hex values, but you could just screenshot this and then bring it into any of your design tools and sort of color pick out these colors here. So yeah, really just a beautiful account overall. Nice for some visual inspiration as well. But those are sort of my three go-tos when it comes to sort of trying to figure out color inspiration and where to start if you're a little bit stuck on sort of choosing a color palette to begin with. So that's all for my sort of color picking video. If you guys found it helpful, that's great. If not, everybody has their own way to go about things. I'll catch you guys in the next video, where we're going to be looking at the technical ins and outs of gradients and how to use the color book in Adobe Illustrator. So I'll catch you then.